Good morning, everybody. I'm doing energy update for the Divine Masculine Collective in this period. And like I said before, whatever resonates with you, take it, and whatever doesn't, leave it. And I have pulled up the energies out here for those who might want to take a look into the energies of the collective divine masculine. Basically, I've taken a period from now, that's October 30th, to November the 1st. So it's like a quick energy read at the same time. It's also an update on the collective divine masculine to see where he is at the moment and where he is going towards in his heart space, in his mental space, in his future energy um, that I have here in front of me at this point in time. Plus, I've also taken his higher self, like I always do, and also the love read here to see what he is feeling um, in his understanding with his twin flame right here for the divine masculine. Now, in his mental space and in his heart space, I really don't have any major arcana to talk about. But in his future space that I see here, he does have two major arcanas, which is good. Therefore, it shows that whatever is happening at this point in time is normal. It's like every human being, we have our moments of happiness and moments of sorrow, and also thinking of the future going forward, what to do and what not to do, planning it out at the same time, contemplating on the wisdom that he's been gathering, his spiritual wisdom, his self transformation that he's going through in all spheres of his life. So that's an overall thing. Plus, we are in the Scorpio season at this point, and Scorpio is all about change. We all know that. So with the cosmic influence about change, there are a couple of things that I see here at this point in time. I would like to share that with people who are watching, even the cross watchers, if you're watching, um, that would be the kind of energy flow. Now, before anything, let me get on to the cards here. On the higher self, he has his third eye chakra opening up, okay, which is a good energy at this point in time because for so long he has been kind of keeping this third eye chakra closed, which means that he knew things, he could see things, he could understand, he could feel it, but at the same time, he was not ready or willing to accept the fact that he can see through things. But at this point in time in his life, because the universe is guiding him towards the correct path, that I would like to put it in this way, the correct directions that he is being given by the universe. So, therefore, his third eye chakra has been activated. And this is a good card to begin the energy with because it's been activated. I would take it because it's a first energy right here in the reading. So I would take it in the way that it's been activated for quite some time now, but it's kind of opening up at the same time. It's opened up. So therefore, he can see through the deceit, the facades, the masks, the situations that he was not, he could see that, like I said, he could see before, but he was not really seeing it. But now with the third eye chakra, he can actually see through things. He can actually understand, and he can you know see through the facade and the masks that is being placed all over and all around him. So that's a good energy to start the reading with. The second energy in the higher self I have is a spiritual union. And this is the spiritual union because it's a green border. It's in his mental space. Now, sorry, here I would like to say that on the higher self, we get all kinds of cards. We get mental, we get emotional, we get spiritual, and we also have the physical. So, all kinds of energies do act out in the higher self. Now, with regards to the spiritual union, it says that, and I'm going to tell you what exactly it says, that he is kind of dealing with relationships involving an emotional bond. So, because of the activation of the third eye chakra, you know, he's getting into the mode of coming to terms with emotional bond. Now, this emotional bond could be with his twin flame, it could be with family members, it could be with friends, business associates, or partners, whosoever is there in his life, that he was not getting into that frame of mind of having that emotional connection with people before. But now, with the third eye chakra having opened up and he can see through things clearly, he also understands the need, and it's a self need for an emotional bond that he has realized that is happening. Now, therefore, this card also suggests that it's a perfect time to realize that all relationships are really about you. Okay, so therefore, that means that the way you interact, the way you give things to people, the way you throw things out, your energies into the world, it's the same reciprocation of the energies that will come back to you. It's all about you. Now, there is also a question about this card, which is asking the divine masculine that you are giving the energy, or it's good, but is it being received by the right people in the right direction, or are you just wasting time in giving energies to people and not receiving anything back in return? This is a spiritual energy exchange. So, therefore, it has to be given as well as received. And in both ways, it's a give and take relationships. Therefore, this card is also telling the divine masculine that there should be an equal balance between giving and receiving energies here. Therefore, relationships are mirror images of your own life. And this is very important because at this point in time, he is also coming into realization that what he had been doing for so long, he had been wasting his energies in areas that was not serving his purpose for whatever rhyme or reason. So now he is coming to the point where he is realizing that he has to preserve his energy and give the energy to the right people at the right time in the right direction, because in return he will get back the same, if not more. So, therefore, it also reflects on how you feel and treat yourself. So, it's very important here that I had said in the previous videos too that it's time for the divine masculine to understand that he needs to love himself. Once he learns that art of loving himself, then he can throw the love out into the world and it will be reciprocated. But until he can clear that obstruction of loving himself, whatever he throws out in the world is not going to fetch him any return. So, with the spiritual union here, it tells me that he's coming to the point where he's understanding the need and the love for emotional bond, not just with himself first, and then he is going to throw out that love and emotional bonding with people when he is going to be able to receive back the same love in the same direction. Therefore, each and every union is an opportunity for soul growth. So, therefore, he needs to now know how he can react and respond to various situations and individuals around him. And this is all happening because of, like I said before, it's all happening because of the third eye chakra that he had been keeping closed for so long. He knew, like I said, he understood, he could gather, but he did not have the strength to open the third eye chakra to see the exact situation and know what he has to do in certain situations, where he has to give his energy, how much energy he can give, what he can contribute, and in order for him to receive back that same kind of love and emotional bonding from those he wants to share it with. So these two cards in the higher self with this kind of messages, I think is extremely good for the divine masculine to start off the energy read here for him and the higher self. Okay, now the third card over here is material harvest. This is in the physical world because of the red border. Okay, so it says that one of the laws of the universe is what you sow, you reap. So if you have really planted good things, you will reap back good things, okay? And this card also states that this is the time that he can reap the harvest that he so rightly deserves, okay? It's the it's this card is the last of the physical cards in the deck, okay? And therefore it also denotes self-mastery, self-sufficiency, independence, security, and the art of enjoying what the divine masculine has been striving for this long. Therefore, the universe is also telling his higher self that you have done enough hard work. You have learned enough lessons along the way, and therefore now it's the time for you to use them in the right direction to get prosperity in all areas of your life. Okay, very, very, very good. This is card number 9. And card number 9 in this deck means an ending to whatever had happened previously, and it's the beginning of a new harvest for the divine masculine. It's also, this card also signifies a time to finish up the last part of his last life, or what I called the past life. And now is the time to complete this project and celebrate what's coming in the future. This would be also a perfect time to look ahead and use the wisdom that the divine masculine has gained to think ahead and use it to achieve what he wants to achieve in the physical world. Okay, therefore, it's a physical card here. He has to take care of his finances. He has to consider smart investments and ponder on ideas that show potential benefits to him in the finance sector. Okay, and therefore, this card also signifies an end to all the sorrows of his finance, of his emotional old self, that he was going through, the mental turbulence, the mental traumas, the late nights, the sleepless nights, the worry, the nine of sword kind of an energy that he used to previously carry with him. So this card is ending all that in the physical world. And it's time for him to get up and reponder, rethink on new investment ideas, on opportunities that will bring him only success, because the end is here with all the old ideas and with all the self inflicted wounds that he had been projecting upon himself in the finance sector and in his emotional life as well. Okay, so this is, I think for me, this card denotes an extremely good message for people who are listening out to this video here that I'm doing at this point in time. Okay, now the last card on the higher self here is the universe. Okay, this is also card number 21, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the last card in the deck for the higher self in the spiritual world. Now, therefore, the universe, when somebody gets a universe card, it says the spirit is telling him that you have come from far from your journey, and it's time to be rewarded for your effort. And that is why in this portion of the place you see all the cards now, and you can match how he is slowly getting into the energy because of the opening of his third eye chakra, and things are slowly making sense to him, what he needs to do, how he needs to act from now on, where is the place that he needs to give his energy totally, dedicate his energy in which rightful direction for him to give and receive the same kind of love and energy back. Okay, this card also symbolizes completion, triumph, peace, liberation, and fulfillment. So therefore, universe is telling him, everything you have strived for is within your reach. Meet it halfway and grab it. Now, the universe, like I said previously, this is the last of the major arcana card in this deck, and it reflects the work that you have accomplished on your travel. Okay, self explanatory. It's beautiful. It's kind of the universe is now coming down upon him to provide him with the right message, to give him the right advice, to give him the right emotional understanding. And it also says that more importantly, it represents the wisdom that you have gained along the way. So there has been a completion of a cycle for the divine masculine in the collective in his own way. You might not be able to see, I'm talking to the divine feminine, you might not be able to see that at this point in time, but it is coming in and this is flowing in. So, therefore, the Spirit is telling the divine masculine that it is time you honor and acknowledge the truly wonderful soul that you are and accept the vital part that you play in the bigger scheme of life. So, it is completely the universe's ideas, their plan, his destiny, the destiny that he had been chosen for in this lifetime. Like I had said in one of the videos, his mission is a different mission. His mission is not like one of the run of the mill kind of mission. His mission is a completely dedicated, divine, spiritual mission with his twin flame. So, therefore, this is the time that the universe is now appearing in the scene. The world is at his command, and therefore he is free to travel in whatever direction his heart desires. So, all the bondage, all the entrapment, yes, in some ways it is going to be there, in some ways it's not going to be there for him. So, therefore, there are loopholes, there are places that he can now, if he wishes, to walk away from those kind of energies. He will be able to do that because the universe is opening the doors for him. It is also connecting, this card also signifies that he is connecting to the cosmos. The universe card is a reminder that the same energy making up the stars in the sky is the same energy that is going through into the universe for him. So, therefore, the cosmos and the physical self, the spiritual self, the mental state, they are all coming in coordination with one another. This is each and every divine masculine who is going through this phase of his journey at this point in time. So, therefore, it is also believed, that the stars that is coursing through the cosmos, they are the souls of every person who is shining up there brightly to guide him, to guide others, to guide all the divine masculines from the darkness and into the light, so that along with those souls who have gained their wisdom, who have gained their understanding, who have gained their maturity, who have gained everything in both the spiritual and the cosmic world, this universe card explains it all. So it's a beautiful energy that I'm getting from the third eye chakra here. From the third eye chakra into the spiritual union. You see how the energies are floating through into material harvest in the physical world and then the universe here. So the universe is coming up. I would predict this as the universe coming up in this next couple of days over here for him. But he is getting prepared because everything is slowly working out for his benefit here, in every right direction. His mental state, his spirit, not his mental, his spiritual self, his physical self, and also the universe here, the last of the major arcana in the deck that I'm reading out to you from. So I think there is nothing more to say in here. It's really very, very nice that I've got these energies out here for the divine collective masculines who are looking into it or who is seeing it, or even the divine feminine in the twin flame journey out here. It's a very good start to read this kind of energies for him. Now, sorry. The next set of card is the love card. Okay, so with the third eye chakra opening up here, he's recognizing, even he has recognized a little before in the last video, but this one is a true recognition. You have already met the romantic partner you seek for. And this he now knows completely. He now knows. He's getting assurance every day as time is going by. He's getting more assurance into the fact that this person, his twin flame, is actually his partner in this lifetime. Okay, the others have all come and gone, karmics, whatever the other relationships, those people are the false people. They are not the true people for himself. The true person is this person who's standing beside him and holding his hand. They are both holding their hands together. It's a beautiful card. The next one is a beautiful card, and this I consider as a twin flame card as well. It says your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. So both these people, both the twin male, both the twins, both the male and the female, they are both walking into this kind of spiritual union because of the spiritual factor, and they're both recognizing this love for each other from a different perspective, from a different plane altogether. That's how I would like to put it here. Okay, from a different plane altogether. Now, the next card over here says it's time to disconnect from the world, retreat. So, because of things that is happening in the physical world, it's also time for the divine masculine and the divine feminine. This energy has been going on for quite some time. The universe is still asking for the disconnection at this point. So, if you are not in contact with your divine masculine, or if you are vaguely in contact with your divine masculine, there is nothing to worry about because it's all going on under the veil, under the shield. Everything is working out. The universe is coming to the action or is coming into the action. So there is nothing for anybody to worry about at this point in time because things are all working out for everybody's highest good. So now maybe it's a time for you guys to stay put in your places, to keep away a little from each other, to work for yourselves, to work for the benefit of your souls, to try and figure out what's the best kind of energy that you both need at this point in time because the love is there. The love has been recognized, okay? There is nothing to worry about whether he knows me, he doesn't know me, whether he doubts my intention, whether he doesn't doubt my intention. Those kind of worries are all going away because you guys are coming back, or you are now traveling in the right path, in the right direction. And for that, whatever patience is required, whatever time frame is required, whatever divine time frame is required, is going to work its course, and that it's happening. Okay. And the last love read over here is romantic feelings. Okay. It says your feelings are real and worth exploring. Okay. So now, because of the retreat, this is also giving both of you the space to feel for each other spiritually more than anything. The spiritual craving is the most highest desired craving in this twin flame journey. Like I said, it's not a craving of the physical world. It's not a sexual craving that you both need to be with each other, touch each other. It's good if you can do that. Maybe some twin flames are already in the process of that. But the people I am kind of referring to are the people who are perhaps right now not staying with their twin flame, but at the same time, they are also walking into the journey in the right direction, in the right way. That explains it all, because of the retreat and the romantic feelings. The time and the space that you both afford to each other is giving birth to this romantic feeling for you all because he now knows that this person is the real twin flame. There is nothing more to say about that. At the same time, the universe is also telling me that both of y'all are walking on the spiritual path together in your own ways. The divine feminine is doing her own lot, the divine masculine is doing his own lot. But at the same, this little communication or the two journeys, they are both coming together in the spiritual harmony. And that's why in the first sector, I've got the spiritual union as well. And at the same time, because of whatever the physical world, whatever the mental world is giving troubles, is energies are going up and down a little bit here and there with all kinds, because it's not possible for anybody, like I said before, to get rid of all energies together. Like you get up one fine day and you say, oh, I'm not going to think about this, I'm not going to think about that. I just want to live like a monk and go from there. That doesn't happen, okay? So when you are in the physical world, you have to face those kind of kind of obstacles and challenges, and that's the reason why it's taking a little slow process out here, because it's like pieces of the puzzle that is slowly being put in their rightful places to complete the whole picture. Okay, that's the best way I can perhaps explain the situation to you. Okay, now this was his higher self and the love read here. Okay, now, I have laid out three sets of cards out here for those people who want to understand and see from what's going on from here. Okay, so basically, uh, it's a, I don't know how to explain this, but what I see here is telling me that. His energies right now, um, it's there is a mix and match of his energies in all spheres of his life. Okay, so it's very difficult to say that he's doing very good, and it's very difficult to say that he's doing very bad. Okay, so it's kind of a mix and match energy at this point in time, but on the higher self, his energies are all in their rightful places, and because of the energies being spiritually in their right place, the mental energies that he's going through is somewhere in between the good and the bad. That's how I would like to see this right now. But at the same time, because of the wisdom, like I said in the higher reading, okay, because of the wisdom he has understood, he's gained his wisdom from, a lot of things that he perhaps did not did not really create wonders for him before, but because of the third eye chakra, those kind of energies are now working in the rightful direction. That's the best way to put the entire thing out here. Okay, so therefore, the divine masculine as such right now is going through that phase, is crossing through the journey where he is trying to correct himself, love himself also, give himself the time and the energy that was taken and drained from his soul. Okay? He's trying to fill it up by by keeping away the negative vibes of those people with whom he has been living with, and those people who did not really serve his purpose. So he is getting into that mode, is going into that mode. Therefore, the first card I have in the mental space is the Nine of Pentacles here. Okay. Now, this is a vice versa tarot that I'm using. Okay. So it has got both sides over here, as you guys probably know or you all don't know. Now, with this reading, I have got this side here. And this says that there is a woman standing at the entrance of her garden, smiling a greeting to the dove that has landed upon her hand. Okay. So it says that the garden is glorious. Okay. You can see the picture on the card here. The garden is glorious with summer flowers. There is flowers all over the place. Okay. And there is much love that she has dedicated in putting towards this garden, in tending the garden, in fertilizing, in watering, in nurturing the garden over here. Okay. The woman's dress is covered with soft pink roses. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. It's covered with soft pink roses as if she was a part of the glory of her garden. Okay, so she is a symbol of the nurture of the fruits of her labor at this point in time. And the pink roses are symbolizing, inner peace. It's symbolizing peace. It's not symbolizing passion or romance or things like that. In this deck, the roses are symbolizing peace, okay? The gentle woman is content with her solitary days filled with beauty. So, somewhere, like I said before, the divine masculine is getting into the mode of understanding the love that he needs for himself. That's very important, and I've been talking about this for quite some time. Finding peace in solitude is easier for people than finding peace in the outside world. But it is necessary for all at the same time, even for the divine feminine. If you are listening, it is also necessary for you to love yourself first. Tend your own garden, tend your own heart, tend your own inner feelings before you throw the energy out into the world for you to receive that same kind of energy back. Your home is your sanctuary, and this card encourages you to enjoy its benefits, okay, of renewal and wholeness. So, in your own little space, your garden is your little space that you have created. You are going to enjoy the sanctity, the sanity, the peace, the solitude, your wholeness, your life, yourself. That's what this card signifies, okay? There is a difference between withdrawing out of fear or exasperation and withdrawing in order to come back to your true self. So, the divine masculine at this point in time is taking time for himself. He's taking time to understand his own need. And that is why in the love card, there is this portion of retreat that makes complete sense now. Both of you need time to take off for yourself so that both of you at the same time can harmoniously understand the concept of the spiritual union here, you know. So right now, that's what the divine masculine is doing, or he will be doing in the coming days. From now on, he's tending his own soul. He's trying to understand what his true desires are, what he actually needs, you know, because so long he has been only thinking about what he can give without thinking that he also is a human being who needs to receive it back, you know. So it has to be both ways. There is no one way energy out here. Okay, and therefore he's coming back to his true self here by taking time off from the outside noise of the world, from the chaos of his outside world, you know, where he was not happy. He's taking time to retreat in solitude, to find peace for himself. That's why this is more of tending and nurturing his own soul than thinking about passion or love or romance or sexual desires or craving for those kind of lustful energies at this point in time. Okay? And therefore, this card also signifies the fact that the universe is telling him that now is the time for the divine masculine, and I would say even the divine feminine to a certain respect, is please look after yourself. Please tend your own garden because this is the time, and let the others do what they are doing. Let them do. You don't have to go and put yourself out there, you know, all the time, thinking and wishing and getting into the mode of being in everybody's space all the time, ordering people around, do this, do that, you know, don't do that, don't do this, forgetting to look after yourself. That's not going to help the spiritual union. So at this point, this is a very important energy. At this point, the divine masculine, with his wisdom, has understood the need to tend his own soul, to look after his own happiness in solitude, in peace, in his own inner sanctuary. And that's the way I would like to put it, okay? So it's a very nice card from that point of view, okay? So therefore, the second card in the mental space, this is what I'm talking about, is this reading is going to be a little long reading, I guess, because of the cards I've got here. Now, the second card in the mental space is that of the Page of Cup here. Now, because it's a vice versa tarot, I don't know, this card is probably looking dark to you. This is his inner self, because he's nurturing his own soul at this point. This kind of an energy is there in his inner self, okay? This young man is standing at the shore's edge, gazing upon the multitude of stars. You can, I don't know if you can see that. The ocean at night has deepened in color. This is a deep ocean color here. And therefore, the cloak that he's wearing is the same color as that of the ocean. And at the bottom here, there is a sea turtle that surfaces in the dark water. Okay. Therefore, this card is telling me and telling you guys that this person's inner self and outer self are pretty much one and the same at this time, okay? So therefore he's not trying to project to the world that he's very happy, he's very good, he's very flirtatious, he's very lovable, he's got that flamboyant energy. No, he doesn't. So his inner self and his outer self, so what's going on inside him is also what people can see in the real world outside of him. The inner self is a little bit more darker than the outside self, which is obviously true because he cannot remain in the disappointing mood all the time in the outer world, because will have to socialize, he will have to react with people in his professional life, everything. So therefore he needs that time and energy also to throw his little goodness around. But at the same time, the inner self is a little darker than the outer self, but both are still the same, okay? He keeps his moodiness to himself and the more tender emotions that may be too vulnerable for the roughness outside. So he's trying to protect his inner self at the same time over here. Okay, because his energies, his mood, his disappointment, his everything, he's trying to kind of absorb those disappointments through his own internal peace, through his own internal solitude, his own internal harmony. Now, the significance of the turtle here is there is a clue to this, okay? The sea turtles, this is a sea turtle, they are old creatures. They are very old souls and they have been swimming in the dark waters for many lifetimes, okay? But when the turtle feels threatened, it withdraws into the shell, okay? So at this point in time, for the divine masculine, he is this person like that old sea turtle here. Okay, he feels safer to stay in the shell because he has gone through a rough patch, okay, and to a certain extent, all the rough patches have been clinging on to his soul, draining his energy, draining his wisdom, to such an effect that right now, when he's finding that solitude and peace for his own self, nurturing his own self, he is withdrawn into the shell just like the turtle. But over time, he will also learn that gentleness doesn't mean weakness. So therefore, he's kind of reforming himself. I would like to put it that way. Uh, for the divine masculine in the collective, for the people I'm doing this reading, if it resonates with you, you will understand why I'm saying this. Most of the divine masculine have been gentle people in their life, They have not learned to be rough, they have not learned to be rude, they have not learned to be calculative, manipulative to the extent where they only want things for themselves. So therefore, at this point in time, this old sea turtle is also a reminder that he will learn with his wisdom that gentleness doesn't mean weakness. You could be gentle, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are weak, you know. So, therefore, that the contradictory thing between gentleness and weakness he's slowly gathering with all the solitude for himself. He's, in one word, if with these two cards out here, with the Nine of Pentacles out here, and with this card here, the Page of Cup, it's kind of that. I would like to say this, he's learning to respect his own self again, if that is the way I would like to put it, if it resonates with you. All those self-respecting worth, that he had been giving away without blinking, um, even his own self-worth, he had not been taking care of that. So now is the time that he's getting into the frame of mind where he's learning once again to respect his own self. And it is said that once you respect your own self, the respect will come back to you, because people will respect those people who respect their own self. It's very true, it goes both ways. So therefore, at this point in time, with these kind of energies that is coming and floating in, and he's going to experience, he's learning to once again take care of himself, which means he's learning to respect his own wishes, more than anything. And that's the reason it says that let other people tend their own gardens while he tends his own. He nurtures his own soul, he nurtures his own garden He doesn't care now. Not that he doesn't care, but he doesn't want to get into the mysteries of solving other people's issues at this point, because this is a time when he's solving his own issues. He's taking care of his health, he's taking care of his diet, he's taking care of his own inner wisdom, everything that he's doing for himself, which is, I think, wonderful. Okay. Now, the next card over here is in the mental space. This is the Six of Cups here, okay? And it says that I mean, in his mental space, whatever his age may be, he could be 60, he could be 70, he could be 50, he could be 40. But he's optimistic about the time of his love, friendship, and close companionship. He craves for it somewhere in the mental space because he likes it. He really actually takes care of that. He's nourishing that good feel in his mental space. Life has a way of tarnishing, of course, those shiny images because in all these ups and downs, his love life, his craving, his own desires had gone out. They had flown out. But again, at the same time, they are still very much within him. They are hiding. They are very passive, but they are hiding. Okay. Therefore, it says this card is telling the divine masculine to immerse your heart in the sweet waters of trust. You have to learn to trust again, and you have to cleanse yourself of all bitterness or regrets of the past. It's very, this is a mental space. So he is understanding the need for himself, the need to do this kind of thing for him, the cleansing, the spiritual cleansing, the mental cleansing, the physical cleansing that needs to be. It's kind of detoxifying your soul, your body, everything at the same time. And in doing so, he will be attracting kindred spirits with whom he will make happy, good new memories. So, this is in his mental space. So, this is what he is getting into. He is understanding the need to cleanse himself now because he has been doing other things for way too long and he has fought against his own wishes way too long. Now is the time he's getting into the energy of understanding what his own soul truly desires. Then comes the three of sword energy for him in the mental space. Now, this card, when somebody gets it in a reading, speaks about heartbreak and betrayal. So, though he's doing all this, though he's thinking about his love life that he wants back, his past happiness that he wants back, he's retreating in his old shell to understand his own self, to respect his own wishes, to nurture his own garden. At the same time, the physical world is not, it's quite rough. It's quite rough. It's that, like I said, it's not possible for somebody to get up in the morning and say, I'm not going to have a heartbreak anymore. I'm going to completely erase my past. You cannot have convenient amnesia. So, therefore, this kind of energy is sticking onto him. And it's also telling that you don't need three swords to break your heart. One sword is more than enough. There was deliberate cruelty or enjoyment in inflicting the pain in yourself. You have also taken the pain. So you have enjoyed to a certain extent of killing your own spirits, of killing your own soul. You have fought well, but at the same time, the divine masculine, knowing everything, had fought it out, had fought it well. But now is the time to stop it. Enough is enough. That's what the spirit is telling him. You might have the heartbreak, you might be feeling bad. To a certain section of the society, some of the divine masculines may be even feeling guilty of what's going on or what's happened or whatever it is. But now is the time to stop it. We don't need this anymore, okay? And therefore, the Spirit is saying you are the one who is stabbing at the heart shield. Recognize that the damage is done. You don't need to make it any worse. So, you will have to stop this kind of an energy, even if it surfaces in the mental state. Because it is true, like I said, you know, everything is not hunky dory for everybody all at the same time. But at the same time, it is also necessary for people to recognize where they have to stop inflicting the same wound and the same pain. Because if you keep doing it, the pain will never go away and the wound will only get larger and larger. And ultimately, your soul will be full of gangrene. you won't be able to stop that gangrene and it will kill you. So therefore it is time for you, if it's coming up in your mental space, it's also a warning that enough is enough. It's time for you to look after your own soul, to do your own need, to take care of your own self-respect, your own worth at this time, instead of on and on inflicting this pain upon yourself in your soul. Okay, whatever has happened, let it go. Think of it as gone, nothing to look forward to at that point. Baby, you have done your mistakes, you have had your guilt conscience, you thought it was your responsibility to take care of all those issues at that point, but now is the time to stop and let people walk and nurture their own gardens for themselves. Okay, the last energy I have here for his mental state at this point and going forward a little bit here is the Eight of Sword. Now, the Eight of Sword in the vice versa has two sides, of course. This is this side of his self, okay? This kind is his own self at this point. But at the same time, when you get this card, there is a sense of telling the divine masculine that he's waiting to see what happens next. Okay, because now he knows that things are not in his control anymore. He doesn't have control on any issues anymore. Okay, whatever has happened in his life, in any sphere, like I said, his professional life, his personal life, his any other life, that kind of an energy has put him in the place with his third eye chakra opening up to know and realize and accept the fact that nothing is in his control. Therefore, the spirit is also telling him there is nothing wrong with remaining still. You can see this person has hands tied in between the sword, is remaining still, as if you're not sure which way to go. So there is a kind of energy that let me wait and see what's happening next. But don't be in denial about the situation. So because for so long he had been in denial, okay, this is what I see, but this is not what I see. This is what is going on, but no, this is not what is going on. That those kind of energies. So therefore the spirit is now telling him, come to terms with reality. Enough is enough. Stop inflicting the pain that you have been inflicting for so long upon yourself, thinking that you can cure all issues. Like I said, the Three of Sword energy in his mental space. And this is a warning that yes, you could be still for whatever period of time it needs for you to gather your whims together. But you are waiting to see what's happening next, but at the same time, don't be in denial anymore. You can't stay here forever, and you're refusing to look directly at your circumstances will only prolong the problem. So now is the time for him to look beyond the Eight of Swords energy to see what and how and where he can go further from here. And that is the reason why he's keeping still. He's not moving. He's just waiting and watching to see what his next move should be according to the circumstances that will crop up. So this card is also saying that consider how you can find support. He will have to find support. He needs support. Now he needs support of the divine feminine. So for him, it's important for him to find that support, to face your reality. And if you find it difficult to face the reality on your own. So at this point in time, he will have to take the support of the divine feminine, or if he has good friends or counterparts or anybody in this portion of his life that he can find support from. Okay, but right now he will definitely need that support. He's calling out for the support. The universe is calling to him for that support. Okay, that is why he's getting these kind of cards in his mental state of mind, because for so long, he has been doing certain things on his own. Basically, he thought that he is all there, he is the king, he is the emperor, like I've said before. And any situation that he comes up with, any issues in his life that he comes up with, he can manage it on his own. But now with these kind of energies, he is realizing that it cannot happen anymore. He will have to let go of it. Okay, he will have to let it go, he will have to let it rest, and he needs support to go into the next phase of his life. That's where he's coming to, slowly but surely. Okay, now this video, as I said, will be a little longer video. I'm sorry, guys, but I don't know what I can do about it, because all the cards, like I said, have flown out. And these cards are so nice, so beautiful, so brilliant. This deck is so brilliant that there is only messages and messages and messages from the spirit that I'm getting that I need to talk about, so that you understand too in the rightful direction. Now, this was his mental space. In his heart space, at this point in time going forward, he's the king of wand, but this is in his inner self, okay? This is about a person, about the king. He has got a gigantic snake that's coiled round a green tree beside a throne, okay? The snake is quiet. He does not appear to threaten or alarm the king, and he's sitting in silent communion, respecting each other's powers. Okay, so divine masculine at this point is sitting in silence. Okay, but at the same time, from deep within his heart, he's respecting the communion with his twin flame. He's respecting that. He's learning to respect his own self. And that's why he's respecting his divine feminine at the same time. Now, the symbolism of the serpent and the tree often speaks of choosing knowledge over ignorance. Like I said, that for so long in his mental space, too, he was thinking that if he keeps repeating the same old pattern, the same old situations in his life, he could get away with it. Maybe he had got away with it before, I don't know. But right now, the situation, the universe is coming into force. He's not being able to work through this kind of energies by himself all alone. So now, slowly, because he's respecting his own self, he's respecting his own wishes, he's also respecting his divine feminine, which is very nice. He's choosing her knowledge over his ignorance. Okay. Now, because this card is a nighttime setting, this king may have hidden concerns about things he has always taken as settled. Like I said, it's always the fact that he had kind of taken things for granted that he could solve any issues. He is the powerful magician. Maybe he is. I'm not denying that he is not. But at the same time, he is not that powerful that he can walk through this entire journey doing all the magic by himself. Therefore, right now, he is finding time to question his old values and belief, whether it's political or social attitude or his personal attitude. Okay. The serpent wisdom, I'm not sure if you're able to see this card here. I wish you could see it. The serpent wisdom can be a little unsettling for him because it touches on his ethical and his moral integrity. So, therefore, he's questioning his ethical self and his moral self at the same time. In his heart, what is that I need? What is that I don't need? What is that I have done wrong? What is that I have done right? Every kind of questions, every kind of situations is coming up with different questions all the time. He's questioning himself because he is now moving into the energy where he feels the need for that support. Okay, he's not being able to complete things on his own anymore. So therefore, at this point in his, this was a mental, in his heart space, he is questioning his own moral ethics because he's learning to respect himself. So he's going back and forth into the depth of his soul to find out the answers for himself, knowing so that at the end of the story, he can get rid of his old self, find the truth, and walk from there onwards. But he needs to clear his guilt conscience at the same time because for some reason, like in the mental space, he had been kind of inflicting this wound with the Three of Sword energy is because somewhere he was guilty. He felt guilty, not that he's guilty, not that he could have done, he's human, he could have done things wrong. I'm not saying he did everything right, but at the same time, the guilt of doing or not doing certain things was killing him. This was the kind of inflictory self harm that you can do upon yourself. And that is the reason in his heart space he's questioning whether I really need this kind of energy to inflict the wound. He's questioning his own self now because he's slowly and surely learning to respect his own time, his own wishes, his own presence on this planet here. In his heart space, he has also got the Eight of Wand energy. Now, this is that side of the energy. Okay, there are two sides, this side and that side. That side of the energy shows the same wands are shooting through the air, but they are going in the opposite direction. I'm not sure if you're able to see this card here. Okay, the fair sky of the day, it's become night and it's blasted by lightning. Okay, now once you look past the wand, we see Pegasus, that's the winged horse, who brings lightning from Olympus to warn or to punish. Okay, so there is some outside force. The universe is forcing the punishment on those people who have done the wrong thing for him. That's the message for this card. Okay, the winged god has come down on this planet to rightfully take care of the punishment of those who deserve. The masculine has not done that. It's people who have done that to him. Those are the people, the karmic, whoever, they are being punished for that. Okay. Now, when somebody gets this card, it says that something you had sent out into the world is coming back at you. Okay. Now, the divine masculine, you have to be careful to put out the energy and activity that you would like to receive back. Then you don't have anything to worry about. But if you have behaved unethically, whether through word or deed, fix it quickly because Pegasus will otherwise fix it for you. So Pegasus is back into action. Okay. Pegasus is back into action for the divine masculine. So now is the time that he will have to correct his old self if he has made many mistakes. And he is also looking out into the world to see those people who have made mistakes. And he was there silently standing and watching their karma unfold. Okay, so both ways, this card is warning both the people that it's time to fix your own deed, to actually take on to the right path, to the right direction, to the right path of spiritual highness, of your goals, of your missions, of your self worth, of your self respect, of your self esteem, of your self confidence, of your worth in basic, okay, of your worth. And therefore this card is here. This is a warning card that I would like to say, because at this point in time the divine masculine can also see the karma unfold for different people. That could be his karmic, that could be somebody he had probably kind of, um, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say love, but he had kind of chosen to stay with at one point in time. But now this kind of an energy is coming down to him, where he knows, or where he understands that it's the time, it's the time for him to change things back into the right order, or the god and the goddesses out there will do it for him. And he can see that happening in the real world because he can see people suffering. I don't know in which sphere of life, but he definitely can see people suffering. He can definitely see people doing things, he can definitely see them getting back their own own karma. So those are the things he's watching out, and he can see that happening whether he likes it or not. Okay. Then the third energy in his heart space is that of the King of Swords. Okay, this is his outer self that he is getting into. This sword is firmly planted in the ground. It's his sword is also it's grounded. Okay, its point is towards a solid ground. There is a butterfly on his breastplate. I don't know if you can see that. And his purple cloak that he's wearing emphasizes his majesty. His expression, if you look at his expression, is that speaks of wisdom as well as strength. So he's slowly getting back into that frame of mind in his heart where he can gather his strength and wisdom from the solitude, from the retreat, from his own questioning, cross questioning of his own self worth. He's slowly coming back into the energy. This is the man who has learned how to master his temper through long years of self discipline as well. Okay. He is a person, let me tell you, this gentleman is a person who likes to think things over. Okay. He goes through things, okay, through rather than acting impulsively. He's not a person to take a decision today and work it out tomorrow. No, he likes to take his own self time and think about it. Okay, he's not impulsive here. He's well respected as someone who can always be trusted to tell the truth, and whether the other person wants to hear it or not, that's a different question, but he will be telling the truth. His idea of evil is to betray the trust of those who believed your word. Okay, so therefore he's coming back into the energy. He's a person who will never break an oath, and he's not likely to forgive those who is breaking an oath on for him. Okay, so this is a very, it's a little bit rough energy, I would like to put it that way, in his heart space that he's coming into. But at the same time, he's coming into that kind of an energy is just because he has realized he has gone through many, like I said, he has gone through the battles of his life, his ups and downs, his joys and sorrows, inflicting his own pain upon himself, doing those ridiculous actions to betray his own self worth, you know. He has been doing that. So, therefore, right now, in his heart space, is coming into that energy of the King of Sword, you know, when he wants to tell the truth and nothing but the truth for people, whether they want to hear it or not, whether they like it or not. So, if he feels the need to call a spade, he will do that now. Okay, he will do that now, which is, I think, for me, I think this is really good. It makes me happier to see this kind of energy the divine masculine collective is getting into. The next in his heart space is a Six of Wand energy that he has. Okay, now we all know the Six of Wand in the other card in the other deck is all about joy, celebration, victory, blah blah blah, and all that. Okay, in this card too, where it says that it comes to the person when success comes to him after a period of strife and striving. Okay, so the divine masculine has gone through a lot of hardships, has dealt with a lot of sorrow, has been through ups and downs. So therefore this card is now coming to him in his heart space. He feels the need for being good about the praise and recognition that he's been given. Okay. He's learning to receive. Basically, he's learning to receive that praise and the recognition. He's learning to listen because now he realizes that he cannot do the wonders, the magic all by himself. He needs a support. He needs to open up his eye, open his ears, open his crown chakra to receive the good energy because that will be reciprocated back to him. Okay, and now he knows that people who are telling him because of the fact that he has earned it, it was not his ego, not his pride, but his spiritual worth that is coming into focus here. Okay, this is a time to bend down and say a prayer of gratitude for a job well done. So it is also, this card is also a sign of encouragement in his heart that not everything he has been doing for so long has failed. There are certain glimpses, there are certain lights at the end of the tunnel that he can now see slowly, that he has earned, that he deserves to be respected for. And that's happening because he's learning to respect his own self. He's learning to recognize the fact that he is a human being at the end of the day. He has his wishes that he has never seen before. He has never learned to respect those wishes for himself. Now is the time that energy is floating into him. And this is what you can achieve when you apply yourself with excellence and integrity. That's what he's doing. He is actually celebrating his own self now. He's celebrating his own worth. He's celebrating his own integrity, his own joy, his own happiness. That is the energy he's getting into slowly because now he has realized that everything he has been doing for so long, you know, like I said before, it did not really manifest much for him. And this is the time. Now he is coming to the point of his acceptance. You know, this is the time that he needs to correct his entire self, to give birth to himself. That is why there was fertility the last time, you know, that I did a reading for them, a Divine Masculine Collective. This is the kind of fertility that is happening now, if you can see it. If you go back to my old video, you will be able to see what I said over there and if I'm right about it, okay? Now here, the next card in his heart space, I've got quite a lot of card. In his heart space is a Nine of Pentacle. This card represents this side of himself, of the divine masculine, okay? It says that it's basically saying that all his earthly possessions that he had chosen was with love, not greed. So he never had bad intentions, for whatever he has done, and never got rewarded for it. He had chosen it with love. He gave his things to people with love. He did things with love for people, never with greed. But at the same time, he never got back anything in return, because the universe told him now, or is telling him now, that you had never learned to love yourself. So how could you give out love to others? So now he pursues that which makes him happy, rather than what will make him richer. So now he's coming out of the material world into the spiritual world. You see how the fertility is taking place for him. Okay, there was beauty, and the pleasure that beautified brings to other fills his heart with joy, because his quest is only finding bliss and peace. That's what he is trying to find. No more running after money so much, no more trying to gather his material wealth. Yes, material wealth is required, which he is doing, but not to the extent of only doing that, because he has realized he needs a balance between material wealth and spiritual wealth. Okay, now Nine of Pentacle of this side of the card is also a wish card. It's a wish card. Okay, it is a sign that he will get what he wishes for. It's a very nice card. His heart is telling him that, but he needs to be careful. And he also, more importantly, he should not squander his wishes. He should keep his wish, his focus intact. And what will happen thereafter will bring him the greatest, deepest happiness over the long period of time. Is that what he really wants? Yes, that's a question that's coming into his heart. Okay, that's the question he is kind of balancing out. That's the question he's trying to find an answer for. Not, he no longer needs a fleeting pleasure, but he needs joy for his life. Okay, so therefore he's questioning, what is more important to me? That's a wish card. What is more important to me? Do I just need a little brief moment of um, a brief moment of happiness, or do I actually need the right things for myself? Okay, that is the question that is coming out to him, and he's in the situation of that frame of mind, that he's getting answers. He's truly looking for those kind of answers, because he now needs those answers. He's found that he's found those answers, not found those answers, but he's trying to look for those answers in the right possible direction, in the right possible way, because somewhere deep down within himself there is a new person being reborn, as I said before. A new person who knows his self-worth, a new person who understands his own self-worth, a new person who understands his own pride, his own pride that he had reserved for himself. But at the same time, because of the disconnect of his own soul from himself, he did not use those tactics in the rightful way. He never pondered over the fact that he needs somebody beside him to support him, to guide him, to love him, to care for him, to look after him. He never thought that he would need that. But now he's being reborn. He's coming into that state of mind where he is getting into the mode of understanding those things that he never thought or had taken time to understand before. Now, in his heart space, the next energy over here that I see is the King of Cups here. Okay. And this is his outer self in the heart space. There is a king in the ornate robe who sits upon a rocky throne under the starry night in the sky. That's why this card is a little dark, because it's a night, okay? His right hand is with a silver cup, and his left hand is holding a scepter topped with a bronze water lily, okay? I don't know if you can see that here. Now his gaze, his sight is steady, okay, as though he's looking deep inside his heart, or in your heart as well. He's trying to focus his attention inside the heart, not through the superficial contact anymore, okay? And the soul too. So he's at this moment, he's reflecting upon his own worth, his own love, by looking deep inside his soul, of looking deep inside his heart of himself and the divine feminine. So, therefore, everything about him is speaking of love, of beauty and attention to symbolism. Everything in his heart space. This person, the King of Cup, this person is also wise and compassionate teacher. Okay. And, you know, the fish necklace, it's difficult for you to see, but there is a fish necklace that symbolizes the peace and quality of sacrifice to a spiritual calling. So now he knows the worth of himself by being the spiritual, for the mission, for being the spiritual man, for having recognized at the end of this journey for the mission that he has been brought down into this world for. Okay. And also, the water lily depicts the fact that his temper is being tempered by peace. He's becoming peaceful. He's no longer anxious, worried, running from pillar to post, trying to do everything at the same time, trying to gather his momentum by doing everything, rushing forward, doing no. He's calmed down. He's more at peace with himself. The night and the dark sea are in keeping with the outer self here. He presents to the world. So he's presenting himself as the peaceful person, as the King of Cup that he is actually in his heart space. He's showing to the outer world, okay? And therefore, his wisdom is the vastness of the cosmos and the fathomless depth of the ocean that he's bringing together. So he's becoming wise. He's recognizing his wisdom. That's why I said in the last video, that everything is working out for his right benefit, for the right way, in the right way, because that's what he had to do a long time before. But everybody, like I said, has their own divine time, has their own divine space, has their own divine moment, okay? Now, the last card in his heart space is that of the Seven of Wands, and this is the card of this side, okay? Now, the Seven of Wands in the general tarot in the Raider deck signifies that he's holding on. He's holding on the last wand with grim and determination. And in this card also, a soldier is standing smiling upon a low stone. Okay, he's holding his wand in his hand. His attitude is that of a conqueror. Okay, that means he's fought the battle and he's conquered the problems. Okay, and therefore there are wands lying at the feet of this man, which calls for the surrender of his enemies. Okay. Now, this victory may be improved that standing upon him and taking him higher in his career or in his personal life. Okay. As the dust settles, slowly as the problems go down, he will be able to smile again. Okay. The low stone is symbolic of a slight elevation in his status. Okay. So with of course, comes with an implied warning, okay, not to exaggerate its importance. Just because all of a sudden he might discover that the dust has settled and he's back into his old self, the spirit is warning him not to do that. If the dust settles and he is able to smile, it's good for him. But at the same time, he has to be the person that he has changed or he has been transformed into, okay? And it's a step up, but there is a lot left to achieve at this point in time. This is definitely an elevated status from where he has been before, but at the same time, this is also a warning to keep his feet firmly planted on the ground, because there are still more battles to come. There is more for him to achieve. But even that being said, he should also take pride in the fact that he has succeeded in his battle for so long. Okay, and the spirit is saying, let that pride feed your ambition, not your ego. So he doesn't, if he goes back into being his own self, which I'm pretty sure he won't, because he has learned his lessons the hard way, he will now have to conquer his ego, which he is conquering, because he has realized all the energies are telling him, spirit is guiding him, universe is coming into action for him. So that way he's completely changing, he's transforming from one to the other. He's going from one energy to the other in different ways. So therefore, it is time for him to also realize the fact that he can no longer feed his ego anymore. He will have to feed his ambition, yes, for sure, but he doesn't need to feed his ego anymore. Okay, those days are over and gone with the wind, as I would like to keep it that way. So this elevated status is being granted to him for sure, but it's also telling him to keep his ego in check and to feed his pride at the same time, his ambition at the same time, but not go back into being his old self, you know. That's not going to work for him anymore. Now, in the future energy, I've asked for the future energy, and that's why this reading is getting a little longer. I'm sorry about that, guys, but I needed to do this in the best way that I possibly could. In the future days coming up, his outer self will be that of the Queen of Wand. Okay, this is a person who is holding a life wand in the right hand, and behind her is the dense forest. The queens she has her eyes closed as she turns her focus inward. So she's refusing to look out into the world anymore. Okay, sorry. She is looking at herself. Her upright posture and bare feet on the earth denotes a channeling of powerful energy that she's going through. This woman can work magic. She is a magical woman and she knows how to work with nature's life forces that surrounds her. Okay? So when she chooses to draw her friends, they will come to her like a magnet. When she chooses to draw the person the masculine loves, when he chooses to draw the person he loves, that person will come flying into his love life like a magnet. Okay, and there are others who would probably be there around him, who would like to be the same kind of energy like he has, but they won't be able to do that. You know, they won't be able to do that because he is a different person at this point in time. He's changing. His focus is completely on himself now, going forward in the future. Okay. So, therefore, because of the receiving and the taking, the giving and the taking, you know, he's being able to give the rightful energies for which he's able to attract back the rightful energies into his life. That's a beautiful one, too. Now, the next one in the future is the Nine of Wand, and this is an energy of his side here. Okay, this side of his energy. There is a soldier who's standing triumphantly gazing over the battle staff that you can see here. Um, at this point, even in this card, the battle is not clear, but it's clear. One thing is clear that he has conquered the land, which is not appealing to him, not particularly appealing, but he has done his a little bit of conquering on the land, okay? And yet there is pride in the soldier's expression. He has a prideful expression, okay? There are 8 wands that are stuck in the ground. You can see that here. They are stuck in the ground beside him. You know, those are like trophies for him, okay? And he's declaring a self-made worth, you know, a self-declaration of his power. So basically, he has fought the battles. The battles are not clear. The land is not completely appealing to him at the same time. But even then, there is some bit of triumphant conquering over here for the man here, for the divine masculine here. And this card says that the war is over, okay? You have done well. There are little battle scars that you will be bearing, of course. But on the whole, you have been lucky and your skills have grown significantly through with being tested time and again. Okay, so it's kind of he's gone through it, he's learning his lessons, his karma is teaching him his lessons, he's going through that rigmarole of his life, whatever he's doing, but those were for a reason. Okay, now is the time to look back and consider what it was all about. What had you been fighting for? These are the questions. What had you been fighting for? Was the effort really worth the reward? Okay. And what are the spoils of your victory and how will you enjoy them? So these are the questions from this card. Okay. So these are the pondering questions that's coming up that's going to likely make the divine masculine ponder on these questions because it's important for him of the learning lessons he has gone through, of the battles he has won. The land may not be completely appealing to him. That means he's not completely satisfied, but at the same time, there is a triumphant victory on his face with questions that is now spilling over. Okay, so these are the time that going in the future, he's going to look into those kind of questions for himself because, like I said, he's learning to recognize his own self. He's respecting his own self. He's learning to value his own soul. That's very important. Now, the future energy is showing me the Four of Cups as well at the same time. Like I said, he's won the battle, he's doing everything, but there is again a little bit of down energy for him. This card always represents for me a little bit of the downside of his energy because it's kind of a sorrowful portion where the young man is sitting on a sandy beach. His back is against a tree, but there's expression. There are four cups spilled on the ground that has been washed ashore, and he's looking at the four spilled cups at the same time. So therefore this reading is also suggesting, this card is also suggesting, if things aren't going your way or if life seems dull and meaningless, this is a perfectly right time for you to sit down and meditate. You don't have to go out, you don't have to be extra flamboyant, you don't have to do a lot of things that you don't wish to. If your mood doesn't permit you, don't do it. It's perfectly right for you to take your time here. you know you don't have to even accept every opportunity that is offered to you, just because at this point in time, in the future going forward, there is a time that you will lack direction also. Okay, so therefore take it easy. It's not a time to compromise your dreams for this moment. Okay, just go walk, flow with the motions of time. But at the same time, do your best not to sulk or take your emotions out on others. Okay, so in one of the cup, there is a crab that's hiding. So basically, this card is suggesting to the divine masculine, if this portion of the energy, whenever it kicks in, take your time. Don't be in a rush. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be out to impress the world anymore because you don't need to impress the world anymore. It's your time. It's your time. Make use of it the way you want to choose to use, but don't sulk. Don't throw your temper tantrums around people. Don't try to push your domination over people anymore. Those days are not going to, those kind of energies are not going to bear any fruit for you. So take your time, rather be like the crab, take your shelter inside one of the cups, find your answers to your questions that you have been asking yourself. Like I said, you know like I said, like ponder over those questions, find out the answers for yourself, take your time, do your own stuff at the right way, and things are going to work out for you. The next card in the future energy is a major arcana. I think this is the first time in the entire reading he's got a major energy out here, which is the judgment. Okay, now this side of the judgment is there are three people who have been called forth from their graves. Okay, and they're standing here to be judged. Now, the man over here, if you can see, he's holding a skull. I don't know if you can see that. The man is holding a skull. The woman is holding a golden egg of Isis, okay, which contains the universe. And therefore, she acknowledges her own primal creative power. So the woman is all about creativity, creative power. That's why she can give birth. That's why she has the reproductive organs, because she is the person who's creating in the universe, okay? The man is holding a skull, and in the middle, there is a child there, if you can see. The child's hands are empty, for he has nothing to prove, okay? His conscience is clear, and his innocence is intact. Okay, so between the man and the woman, the child's innocence is intact. And over on the top, there is a falcon. That's Horus, the god of the rising sun. This is the judgment card for the divine masculine. So, therefore, this card comes up to say, consider this. There are questions, there is considerations to be taken care of. What would you bring before the angel of judgment? A question for the divine masculine. What might represent the understanding of your life so far? These are the questions coming up deep within him in the future. What would you offer as you move forward to the next phase? What is that you have to offer to your divine feminine when you move forward? What is needed to let you be as light-hearted and innocent as a child being reborn? So you see the questions that the judgment is calling out for him. Okay, this is the energy that is coming up in the future for the divine masculine, because it's the time. It's the time, like I've said before, it's coming to that point of fertility. It's the time for him to understand that what he has been doing for this kind of a period for way too long, that's not going to work for him anymore. That's not going to work not only for him anymore, it's not going to work for anybody anymore, not even for the divine feminine anymore. So, therefore, the questions, again, as I said, this is a beautiful card actually. I'm impressed. These questions are being considered by the God, by the universe, asking the divine masculine, what are the things that you can do to be as innocent and light-hearted as the child? What do you have to offer to the divine feminine here when you are going and crossing the boundaries to go into the spiritual union? What have you to offer to her in the real sense? So these are the questions. What have you done so far in life? So these are the questions that is coming up with the judgment card here in his future energy. Now, when I say about the future energy, I'm not specifically targeting for a mental or emotional. It could be either one. It could be both of them. I don't know. I just call this a future energy by itself. Okay. So I think this is self-explanatory. A beautiful card over here for people who can understand what I'm trying to say here. And the next card over here is also a major card here. It's a major arcana. It's the strength. Okay, and the divine masculine has this side of the strength where there is a devil that looms up before the empress and her lion. Okay, now as though there is an eclipse. Okay, as though there is an eclipse, but in this muted light, the signs of infinity above the empress's head, it grows with increased energy. Okay, she is the life force herself, and the strength of that cannot be compared by the power of darkness that she has around her. Okay, so therefore, even though there is a devil that is looming on top of the lion and the empress, she and the lion don't even bother to stand up, because the devil can threaten, but he cannot destroy what refuses to be destroyed here. So it's a spiritual union, it's divine union. It's the time the universe is stepping up and destroying the demons, destroying the devils, the demons that has been at work for this period of time, trying their best to destroy the energies, the good spiritual communion between the divine male and the divine female here. So now is that future energy when nothing will be able to destroy this kind of situation. Now, therefore, this card is also saying that face your shadow self, your ideas about power, and your reluctance to claim it. It's time to claim back your power by releasing the old bondage, the old chains of bondage to anyone who had the power over you in the past. You don't have to repeat that pattern. And abuse doesn't always foster more abuse. Confront your demons over here. So you let go of the old Eight of Sword energy, okay? Being tied down, being entrapped, being taken bondage, being held hostage, whatever way you would like to put it here, okay? You need the support, everything is good, but at the same time, you're standing still, waiting to see what's happening next, which is good. But now the future energy is asking for a different kind of a person in you. Take back your strength. You don't have to remain entrapped into that circle of life, into the old pattern of life that you had been entrapped in for whatever period of time. Those days are gone, those days are over. You need more independence, you need more understanding, you need better things for yourself. That's what the universe is calling out for. And giving you that enough guidance with judgment here, with questions being asked. And in the world, they're giving you the strength and the courage to walk away from the abuse, from the toxic situations, from things that did not work for you and will never work for you. Go into the next phase of your life to finish and do what your mission in life is here for. Now, the next card in the energy reading for the future here is the Two of Wands. Okay, This is a person who knows that he has gone through a lot, everything, but now he's just waiting and watching. Okay, he knows there is a challenge coming up, he knows there are challenges in his way. He's dedicating himself to the highest purpose and the best outcome for everybody here. So whatever decisions he does, he will do it honestly, he will do it with complete justice, being a fair person, being a fair noble person. Okay, he's not going to rush, he's not going to take his impulsive actions to please anybody. He is going to be a very fair person. Okay, so therefore he will pay enough attention to to logistical details of the endeavor. Okay, he will be doing a little bit of mathematics calculations, as I would like to say, that is the way it is. Okay, making it a point of drawing his higher self, however that could be, in whichever way, to bring the spirit and the meaning of the enterprise. And by saying that, why cannot I do it? Not what has happened, what I had to learn, what I have learned, what is that I could not do? What is that I'm feeling guilty about? No. It's the time to say, why cannot I do it? Why cannot I gather the strength? Why cannot I be like everybody else? Be happy in my life. Be the best person in my life. Be the person that I choose to be in my life. So he's coming to the point of saying that, he's coming to the point of understanding the importance, the complete importance of this kind of an energy that is, holding him, taking him over slowly. It's like consuming him. It's like, if you look into these cards as I read out, it's the energy is kind of grabbing him. He's not being able to push it away anymore. It's taking hold of him. It's taking hold of his soul. That's the kind of energy I'm getting from here, from the reading. And the last part of it, in the future energy, he's like the Knight of Cups here. Now, this Knight of Cup is a handsome knight who travels through beautiful seashore, landscapes, everything. Okay. This knight is raising a cup in greeting as he passes through his journey. He's so proud. He's being able to raise the cup here. This person is a classic knight in the shining armor. He is the dashing prince who offers the cup of love. Doesn't it remind you, Divine Feminine, of the Mills and Bones kind of stories that we used to read, the romantic novels? It was a little bit trashy, I would like to say that way. But those days, when we were children, when we were just getting into the phase of our life, understanding love, we always dreamt of somebody coming to us in a night, just like a knight in a shining armor. And this is exactly what's going to happen again, for us. Maybe we are a little bit old, but that doesn't matter. So this divine masculine will be like the knight in the shining armor, okay? Now he's holding the cup which has the water that symbolizes emotions, and it's an element he's very much at home with. So he's very comfortable holding the cup, okay? The magnificent waterfall in the heart that he has is overflowing with love. It's coming up for you guys, for the Divine Feminine. Love is in the way. His desires have the power to change the landscape and move anything in its path. Those who would travel beside him on the same path, whether in romance or in any other kind of quest, would be needing to willing I would be needing and willing to give him as much as in return. Like I said, I started the energy with the give and take, and I'm ending the reading with the give and take energy. But now, here in the future, he's coming to the point of getting his own quest in action, of getting his own self worth in action, of getting his own emotions, of his spiritual union, of his communion with anything that you would like to say it in, the words that might come out from your soul. But at the end of this journey, I started this read with a give and take relationship, and I'm ending this reading with a give and take relationship. But now, whatever he gives out, because of the love that he has in his heart, he's going to receive back the same love from his divine counterpart. What more is the best way to end this reading with? With two goddess guidance in here as the last ending part of it says infinite supply. You are supplied for today and all of your tomorrows. The universe is guiding the divine masculine in the most rightful direction, in the most rightful way. And again, the goddess is talking about true love, The romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you. There you go. That's a wonderful reading. I'm just in love with my own reading. Sorry, guys. That's all I had to say over here. But take what you can, what you love in this reading, and do not take what doesn't resonate with you. Choice is yours. Have a great day. Enjoy yourself, and I'll be back once again. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, love, share, comment, do whatever you want to do. But here I am for you once again at your service. Thank you so much. Have a great day and stay blessed, guys.